are live. Jay, hey guys, how are you?
Hey y'all.
Hey, I am here with Miss Jeanette Epps Jackson, co-owner, co-founder,
Co-owner,
co-owner,
co-owner.
founder of Whether Not Worn. I am Sharice B, and you are on my channel. Show up with Sharice B, feeling good as hell, because that's what we do, and we're
I
feeling
love
good
it.
today with Jeanette Epps Jackson. Okay, so we're gonna have a good, open, honest, transparent conversation. I just told her last week we're always doing something dope together, right? I'm always in her clothes because
Always.
she has some dope clothes and
And
I
looking
love them.
beautiful in them.
Thank you. I love them, and I just love her. I met her through our friend Nicole B. Jackson, and she's just a dope person. And we clicked and locked in, and we in it together forever,
Forever.
doing dope things. So a little bit later, I'll go through the boutique here at Pittsburgh Yard and show you her amazing location. But right now, we're gonna jump into some conversation. Okay, some transparent conversation. I'm all about the healing, evolving, loving, and living. And this lady right here, she's doing it to the fullest, and I love it. Okay, so how you doing, girl?
I'm great.
Oh, no, you're amazing
Oh,
as
you're
always.
amazing.
Yeah, she's so much fun. So first, I want to start with telling them a little bit about your journey.
Okay. Well, I'm Jay. Everybody calls me Jay. My journey kind of started with Whether or Not Worn in the midst of a storm, basically. Whether or Not Worn is just about embracing your story, about going through life's journeys, the ups and the downs, and coming out better on the other side. You're weathered, but you're not worn. And so our journey basically started when my husband lost his six-figure job, and we had to move into his mom's basement. This basement had no windows, so there was no vitamin D coming through. It was dark, it was gloomy. And like a lot of marriages, when you go through turmoil, a lot of times it's around finances. And that was the case for us. So we kind of went through a rough spot there, living in the basement, and I was trying to kind of find a way to make ends meet, to pay a couple of bills, to help out. So I started selling denim, like cut up denim, ripped denim. And at that time, it was called Restyle by Jay, because I was also doing some thrifted pieces that I was reselling.
Okay.
I was a big thrifter at the time, and people would always ask me, "Where'd you get that from? How'd you put that together?" And they never believed that I thrifted my whole outfit.
right.
So I was like, "Why not start doing this for people?"
Yeah.
And so that's how Restyle by Jay got birthed. Whether or Not Worn came about when I started really focusing on the denim and the meaning of the denim in my life, because I've always been a girl to wear ripped jeans, but I kind of started thinking about, well, why am I so attracted to things that are worn and weathered,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so I started selling the jeans, but then I started creating a brand and like really honing in on what the meaning of the jeans were and why I was so attracted to the distressed look.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I came up with the brand Whether or Not Worn and the meaning behind the denim. So we rip the denim, we bleach the denim, and we tear off the back pocket of the denim. So the rips in the denim represents the falls we take in life and how we don't have to look like what we've been through. We all have to go through life's journey. The bleaching represents transformation and embracing change. Just knowing that life is about change.
Yes.
You know, you're going to be different people, have different feelings about things in life, different perspectives as you grow older. So just embracing change. And then the missing pocket is about letting go of people and things that no longer serve our purpose.
Purpose. It all has purpose. It's so intentional.
Yeah.
And that's what I love so much about this lady right here. She's intentional about everything. And so I would like to go a little deep.
Okay.
So during that time, when you and your husband were really going through it and had to be in the basement, at your mother's home, like, what was it like for your marriage? Like, did you feel like I can do this or I can't do this or should I do this or what
Yeah.
am I doing? Like, can you be transparent about those moments?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I believe that was the whole birthing of this brand of being weathered, not worn. Like I said, the finances kind of took a toll on our marriage, along with some other things that occurred. And we kind of decided to separate for a minute during that time. I had moved into an apartment, finally got out of his mom's basement and moved into an apartment. And he, stayed there at his mom's house. But during that time, I don't know. Derek and I, we've been married for, at that time we were married for about 20 or so
Yeah.
years. And we got married young, and we were in college. We had our first child in college, with the support of all of our fraternity friends, sorority friends. But when we got married and started a family back then, it was just so quick, and so we really didn't know each other.
You're right.
We
didn't know
kind of,
yourselves.
what we knew was that we wanted
know?
to be better than what we had been brought up
Yeah,
in. So
yeah.
Derek, kind of grew up in a single mom household. I grew up in a household. I had both parents, but they weren't great examples of
Yeah.
what marriage should look like, and so we both knew that we wanted more than what we came from.
Right.
So we wanted to do right by this baby that was coming, and so we decided to get married. And by that time, I hadn't really got to figure out who Jeanette was, what I liked, what
Yeah.
I didn't like,
Yeah.
and kind of got thrown in that role of wife and mother, and along the way, kind of lost myself. And so it wasn't until we moved into his mom's basement that I think life kind of made me stop and take a look at myself and take a look at where we were in our marriage. The two oldest had went off to school or left the house, so we just had our youngest with us. So she was a teenager and she was living upstairs. We were in the basement, she was upstairs, but it was a different time for us.
Yeah.
Because it was just us.
Yes, Ooh. Facing
So
each other.
we had to face each other. Before we had the distractions of kids and activities and all of that, and now here we are, two very different people from what we were when we met in college.
Yeah.
Having to look at each other and determine, do we like each other? Do we want to be here?
Wow. Yeah.
Is it worth fighting for?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we were during that time.
Wow. It's deep.
Yeah.
That it's so deep because it's like you're still here.
We're still here.
They're still here, and weathered, not worn. And I feel like when you can find that partner that you can make it through with, it's almost like you reinvented the love again.
Yeah.
Because I see it. Like, I'm not sure if you all know who this lady is. If you're not following her, follow her, Weathered Not Worn by Jay. Okay? And follow the brand, follow the story. But if you watch her and her husband in business together, collaborating together, working together, it's a unit. And to know that they came through struggles and challenges and then they're still here, it can happen.
Yeah.
It can really happen, and it takes work, a different type of
It
work.
definitely takes work.
Yeah.
We actually separated for about 6 months. But it was, I don't regret it. I try not to go through life with regrets because I believe there's lessons to learn along the way. It's how you navigate through life is how you're supposed to navigate through life.
Absolutely.
So with us, I just feel like when we finally did get back together, 2020 is what really brought us together. 2020 is what really brought us together, because I wasn't busy with work. He wasn't busy with work, and we were able to just sit down and just learn who that person was in front of us again.
Learn, relearn, unlearn
Unlearn
and relearn.
Yes.
unlearn and relearn, because
Yes.
you, like you said, you didn't even know who you were as an individual.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
but yet you're interconnected with this person forever. So I prophesy that they'll have this huge marriage retreat for
Oh.
the people. I really feel like these are the type of people that you want to learn from, you want to connect with, and really learn their journey and see how did they do it. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people, and we'll go into social media shortly, but I think a lot of people are doing it for the gram, doing it for social media, and they're not doing it for real now. But then when you meet a couple who has, you know, stood the test of time, and they're still in it, and they are building a brand together, and then he has his own brand, you have your brand, and then they bring it together collectively as one
Yeah.
after raising children, still raising children, you know, because I think you raise children for a lifetime. We had a conversation about
Absolutely.
that. I feel like, you know, we kind of got thrown to the wolves.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop, y'all. We
It
still here.
doesn't stop.
So, you know, still raising children, building a community. And she is a CEO, you know, so my acronym for CEO is building a community, you know, elevating and evoking evolution, and creating opportunity.
I love that.
And, you know, yeah, you got that regular CEO, chief executive officer. Yeah, you're that too. But I truly believe that, you know, if you're not, how are you going to be the CEO if you're not building the community, evoking the evolution, you know, elevation, and creating opportunity? It's a must.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we're here today, you know, because that's what we do constantly. You know, we build our communities, we connect our communities, and how else would we make it? You know, she's also, I want to talk about your jump from being a high level educator into entrepreneurship as well, and then we'll tap into social media.
Okay. So this past December 2022, my husband and I actually have the same birthday. December 9th is our birthday, which is a whole nother story about how he reeled me in. But on December 9th, my birthday, I took a leap of faith and jumped from my 20 to almost 25-year profession of being an educator. At the time, I was an assistant principal at an elementary school. I'd been an assistant principal for the last 6 years of education. And it was a major leap for me.
It was big.
Because, one, I'm not a risk taker, never have been. I've always been satisfied with going to work, coming home, and relying on that paycheck that I knew was going to come on the 15th and the 30th of every month. And so one day I was sitting on my porch doing my affirmations. I have cards that I read. And one of the affirmations, well, before I got to this one card, an image popped into my head of me telling my principal at the time, who's a dear friend of mine and big supporter of Whether It Not Worn, Dr. Roxanne Dixon. She's a part of the Be Free BU movement. Anyway, she, in my vision, I pictured myself telling her that I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. I'm not finishing the school year, and it's time for me to take a step into Whether It Not Worn full time. And so as soon as I read, had that image, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm daydreaming again. Let me stop. And so I go to read my affirmation, and it says, I am giving you the answer, the divine solution at this very moment. And I and my Father are one, and He is giving me the divine solution at this moment. And so I got chills all over my body. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is God talking to me. And it's so crazy because the day before, I was talking to my brother, and I was like, Gene, I just wish God would just tell me when I'm supposed to leap, when I'm supposed to jump. And then the very next day, this happens. And I knew Sharice, without a shadow of a doubt,
Mm.
that it was God speaking to me,
Yeah.
saying it's time.
Yeah. And you cannot be disobedient when you know.
You cannot. And Dr. Key told me once before, because a couple of years before I had said, I want to leap, but I don't know when to. And she
Yeah.
said to me, you'll
You'll
know
know.
when you know that there's going to come a time, and there will not be a shadow of a doubt. You will know when it's your time. And that was the moment for me.
I love it. I love those defining moments in life when you can go back to them and say, that was the moment. You know, because there's so many things that are so hazy, especially in this day and time, because life is just busy and crazy. But to be able to describe that defining moment like that, yeah. I think moments, being able to share moments like that is what will have a person who's listening to this interview say, I remember my moment. Because sometimes life happens and you might forget your moment. And you may have already gotten your confirmation. You may have already gotten what you needed and you forgot because mess happening in life. But when you can be reminded through conversations like this, divine conversations like this, you know, aligned conversations like this, love and alignment, because if it's not love and alignment, leave it alone. So, when you can come back to those moments and be reminded through these types of conversations, you can say, hey, I remember, so let me go back and do what I said I was going to do, what I promised to myself that I was going to do. And that's why we are here. You know, that's why we show up for each other. That's why it's so important for you to show up for yourself. You know, I would not let today go by and not do this interview. Last week, it was last week, right? That she wasn't feeling well. We were going to do the interview and she wasn't feeling well. And no way was she going to come in here not feeling well. We need to get you fully healed, okay? We need to get you healed. You know, because even with that in entrepreneurship, you know, you need to listen to yourself, your body. You know, when you feel yourself going down, like stop it. You know, stop being in so much desperation that, oh, I gotta go. Stop. Your body is talking to you. You know, your mind, your soul is talking, life is talking to you. Sit down, shut it down, rest. You know, rest and heal. So I love it. And hey, Dr. Roxy, I met Dr. Roxy through Jay too. So it's the tribe is so tight. You know, I love her friend, Taurus, one of my girls. Like, we just met and we were sisters immediately, and that's who I am. And when I meet people like that, we're locked in. Like, I'm your friend for life. I don't care how long it's been since we talked, I'm locked in. So
can I share a quick story about how we met? So she did talk about how we met through my sister-in-law friend, Nicole. But Nicole actually gave me your information when I decided to get my hair cut off. And I decided to get my hair cut off right in the beginning of the marital downfall that Derek and I were going through. And I was like, you know what? Let me get this weight lifted off of me. You know how we do when we break up with our significant other, boyfriend, whatever. We change things up. We lose weight. We cut our hair. We do all it. So
let it go.
I was in that space. And I just remember how loving and caring you were towards me during that time. So much so that she was like, girl, just come in. Let me do you over, and it's on me. And I was like, who is this person? But she transformed me that day, made me look absolutely beautiful, feel beautiful. And but not only that, like, she totally poured into me. And I know those of you who know Sharice know exactly what I'm talking about. She's so easy to talk to. She listens, but she just pours into people so just without limit. And I just love that about you.
Yeah, you attract who you are. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, but that's what we do. We just pour into others, you know. We learn and we share and we grow together. So, and I love that about you as well. So, with this big transformation in your life, this big transition and transformation, what has been the scariest day, you would say?
The scariest day.
Literally, like the day, like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Or, like anything that you can think of that was just literally scary for you. And then when you got on the other side of it, you're like, I made it.
Um, I would probably say there's not really one moment, but there were times when I was asked to do interviews. Not this one. This one is a very comfortable interview because this is my friend.
Yes.
Feels like we just having time on the porch.
Yes, exactly.
Porch talk.
Exactly.
But doing interviews absolutely would terrify me.
Yeah.
And I think some of it just had to do with being okay with being my authentic self. Knowing that my authentic self was enough
It's okay
for
yes.
people. And I think that's been the scariest thing for me so far.
Yeah.
I don't like being in the limelight. Honestly, y'all see the pictures and stuff on my website of me modeling clothes. It's my least favorite thing to do. Like, I do not like being in the forefront like that, really.
Yeah.
But I would just have to say interviews has just been something that I'm getting over.
Yeah.
So my new affirmation is I love doing interviews and sharing with people, and I have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I had to change the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's one of my affirmations I had to adopt, and just a lifestyle as well. I have a T-shirt that Tara is helping me with. Let's have fun figuring it out. You ever read the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It?
No.
It's a really good book. You have to read it. I'm sure some of you have. But here's the thing, I read that book again probably in the last couple of months, and it really clicked with me like, oh, this is a game. Oh, why are we so stressed out? Because this really is a game that we're playing in life. So let's really start having fun figuring this thing out instead of being so stressed out about it. And we honestly do have fun. It might be a little stressful when you pulling one of the fashion shows together, trying to pull it together, but it's so much fun to be a part of. And then the end of it is like, it's so gratifying.
Fulfilling, yes.
Yeah. So that to me is having fun figuring it out. Opening up your locations. How are you going to pay the bills? Well, we're going to have fun paying the bills. How about that? We're going to have some parties. And we're going to collaborate, and bring the community together. So,
I love that.
It's important to not be stressed. And I think our generation, and I want to talk about that, you coming up on 50, and how that feels in entrepreneurship and, just evolving. I feel like we have been conditioned to think so negative. Think of the cup half empty instead of the cup half full. So we have to really truly adopt it. No, the cup is half full. So all I have to do is pour more into the cup.
Exactly.
And continuously pour more into the cup. So how do I do that? I pour more into people. Whatever it is that you're lacking, you give. So if you're lacking love, if you're lacking support, if you're lacking money, go give some away.
Give it away.
And watch it come back to you, I promise you.
That's so crazy because when we went to go visit my daughter in West Palm last weekend, and when we went that first day, like I'm usually a planner. Like, I like to know what we're gonna do every minute of the day. And so this time I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I had seen the numbers 555, which is an angel number, meaning go with the flow. And so I was like, I'm just gonna let this day flow. And me and Derek kind of were vibing off each other, like, let's just flow. And there was so much freedom and fun and love in how that day went. It was just perfect. It was perfect. We ended the evening on the beach, sitting, talking to our daughter, and I was like, this was just such a beautiful day. And it was because we just allowed it to flow. And so the next morning on the beach, I was talking to God doing my devotional, and he brought up the fact that if I allow myself to keep my hands open, like fully open, and let him flow his abundance to me, I can receive all of it. But sometimes we want to partially keep our hands closed because we want to hold on to that little bit that we have.
Yeah, from fear, lack.
Yeah, but God is like, no, open it fully and let it flow. And don't be afraid to let it flow to others from you. A lot of times we want to hold on to everything because we don't know if we're going to get it back. We don't know if no, God said, if you believe that I have this abundance for you, then why are you so afraid to give to others? Why are you so afraid to give your time, your love, your energy, your money to those that come to you in need? Give it away.
Give
I
it
have
away.
more to give to you.
It's so much. It's plentiful. It's abundant. And that is a mindset. That is a lifestyle. And I love that my tribe and my community lives that. And if you're not living that, it's kind of like how can we have a flow?
Right.
Because you're talking negative and you're talking in lack, and that's not my language.
Exactly.
So I love that. So this beautiful lady, believe it or not, what's your birthday coming up?
December 9th will be 49.
49. Oh, okay. We
This
were
year.
talking. Okay,
50
good.
is next
The
year.
next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Taurus and I did talk about that. Okay, but even with that, Generation X, right? How have you been able to adopt this social digital world as coming out of education, becoming an entrepreneur, and becoming a social media influencer, a business owner, and woman business owner, partner with your husband, like community builder? Like, how has that felt? Like, has there been any apprehension? Has there been any, scarcity for you jumping out there? Because you did say that you maybe are an introvert, maybe? Yeah.
A little bit.
So what has that transition and transformation been like for you, like opening your life up? Did you think that it would take all that?
Not as much as I'm realizing now. I realize that people really want to connect with you. They want to engage in your life and your thoughts and your feelings throughout the day. And because sometimes I'm like a little to myself, it puts me in a in kind of a funny situation. So, there are now, granted, if I'm sitting having a conversation with friends and stuff, I'm very transparent. I share it all. I really don't hold back. Sometimes my husband gives me the side eye, like, would you shut up? But I get it from my mama. From those of you that know my mama,
that lady right there.
she is so transparent, and so I have some of that from her. And so I try to be as transparent as possible on social media. But again, I go back to that whole my authentic self. Is it enough? Is it what you really want? Do you really want my authenticity? Or do you want me to show up as this person or that person? And so I kind of struggle with that sometimes, but I'm learning to make social media my friend and my way of connecting with people who are my age, going through whether or not one is really evolving.
Yes, it is.
I'm noticing that it's really resonating with people who, for one, have been through some shit.
Yes.
And for you to have been through some true shit, you gotta be in your 40s and 50s and 60s.
Yes.
You ain't really been through no shit in your 30s.
I know.
Like, it's really once you hit 40, right? And so that's really who our audience is.
It is.
And so we're starting. We were just talking yesterday about tapping more into the late 40s, 50s generation, because those are people who are starting to venture into retirement, wanting to become their authentic self, live the life that they want, and make no excuse for it. And so we really want to start tapping into that audience, because we think that's really who our brand resonates the most with.
It does, absolutely. I noticed that early on, because when I would wear your clothes, oh my gosh, they were like, I would see messages like, girl, you see them clothes? It was so funny. Whose clothes are those you have on? Because a lot of times people think they're yours, I'm like, no. That's my friend, Jay, whether or not worn. So I would have to really help them understand, like, no, I'm modeling her clothes, we're friends, we're partners, like, we collaborate.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, you can do that too. I was like, you have to do what she does. She has her own community, and then she collaborates with other communities as well. And everyone is, like you said, they're in that space where, even myself, she got me wearing my belly out. Let me tell you something.
And looks good.
I appreciate that, but it's still that thing. I'm 50 years old. I shouldn't have my stomach out, but I had to really free myself up.
Yes.
I wasn't doing that before, and I'm like, no, I do look good. And let me go do some more crunches.
Then most
so every
20-year-olds.
time she call me, I'll be ready. So, I do realize that we are evolving into who we really truly are. And if you see people that you resonate, a person who has taken the leap, like Jay, really went out there, and the story, her and Derek's story is so amazing for any couple, that needs that encouragement when it comes to raising children, family, friends, just anything through marriage, just life, period. This is who you want to tap into. This is that community that's going to be real and raw. When you walk up in here, you're going to get good energy, real raw energy. Literally, when she says weather not worn, you've been there. So when you see her, that's why you resonate with the clothes. It's not just because they're cute, fashionable clothes. No, she's put her hands on every single piece in here and put her energy in it. And that is why you come in and you touch the clothes and you fall in love with the clothes, right? You're like, oh my God, this is mine. It is. And she customizes pieces as well. So you can come in or do a consultation on the phone or virtual, and she'll get a feel for you. She'll make some pieces for you, like a pair of pants for you and your energy and your story, literally. Yeah. That's a gift. That's a true
Thank
gift.
you.
I love that. I love it. That's why I love her. That's why I really wanted to push through, get this interview today. It really was just a talk. It's not an interview. It's a conversation. We have these conversations all the time, but these types of conversations need to be shared with the people. Absolutely. Because I think a lot about how people who don't have communities like us, people who don't have, heart and spirit like we do, and I feel often bad, like who doesn't have that? But it's a lot.
It is.
Of people who don't have it. So, be open to tapping into, just show up, just call, say, hey, can I come by and see your clothes? Can I just come tap into the energy? Because a lot of times at the salon, literally people would come by and say, I just wanted to sit in here. Okay. When I understood what was happening, I'm like, oh, they like being here because there's no drama. It's happiness. It's, peace. You're going to meet someone good that's going to pour into you. So it's okay. Like, don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed of desiring good energy. Like, that's what we are. That's what we do. Good energy. We feel good. We're happy. And we support each other.
Always.
Would you like to leave the audience with something special today?
Sure. First of all, let me say thank you for allowing me to share with your audience. I think you are an amazing woman. I always call on Sharice for any type of event that I have, fashion show, photo shoot, because not only her outside beauty, but her energy is just absolutely amazing, and I love you to pieces.
Thank you.
You know, if you feel like there's that what we shared today resonated with you, what I shared today, my story, the journey of Whether Not Worn resonates with you, I'd love for you to come and visit our showroom here at Pittsburgh Yards. I love connecting with people, but more than anything, I love to have people come into the showroom and give me free will to transform you in a way that makes you feel good about how you look, how you move, It, it could be for an event. It could just be for day to day. This is what I want to look like when I go run errands. But come to the showroom and let me show you how you can become weathered, not worn.
Awesome. I love it. And listen, I will be back with Jay. Jay and I have been talking about doing an event for a while now. We have something brewing, something really, really amazing that really encompasses this entire conversation that we had today. And we'll be talking about it very, very soon. And stay tuned. Stay tuned because we want to pour into you. We want to connect with your tribe, your community. We want you to come into our community and just love on you, feel good, look good, be your best. Love you guys.
Bye.
Yay, we did it! Thank you. That was beautiful. Ooh, well, when I learned how to turn off my camera, that was so good. And I'm still on here. I'm still live. I'm just still trying to figure out how to. There we go. There we go.